Oh, God, where have you been all this time? We've been so worried.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is the first ever monthly wrap-up. So I've been doing this for quite a while now and never done a monthly wrap-up. And I think it's quite a nice thing to do. I like watching other people's monthly wrap-ups. I like watching their weekly wrap-ups, but I can't do a weekly wrap-up because I don't read fast enough. But I'm going to do a monthly wrap-up. And I'm also going to incorporate an update on the 25 book bronze Read What You Own challenge. So that's a challenge that you can do it at various stages, and various booktubers are doing it, where they've got so many unread books in their collection, and I've got so many unread books in my collection, that they are sticking to this challenge where, probably with a few caveats, I think everyone's got a few caveats, they are reading a certain amount of books before they buy any more. And there's like 25 books, 50 books, 75 books, 100 books. And I've picked the 25 books because I don't read fast enough to make it 50, because it would be, if I did 50, it would be almost a whole year. And that's a bit silly to never buy a book in a whole year. So 25 books is my goal, with the caveat that I can buy a book for an actual readathon that I'm doing. So I have, in the interim period where I've went in the last sort of 2.5 months when I've been doing it, I have bought a Ray Bradbury book and I bought a history book. Because of the readathons. So because I'm doing the Ray Bradbury deep dive and I'm doing the Historathon 2023. So those are exceptions, but I haven't gone out and gone out and shopping for books or whatever, because I've got to read these 25 books. And I'm actually more than halfway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, almost. I'll be around halfway. I kind of am halfway, but by the end of this weekend I should have nudged over to the other half of the 25 book challenge, which is quite cool. So I'll do that first. I go over the 25 book challenge, then I'll say what I've done on the channel in the last month, and I'll talk about what I plan to do in the next month. So monthly wrap up. Let's just talk about the books I read so far. So this is not just in January, but this is the 25 book challenge so far. So to be fair, I can't find my copy of Death World by Harry Harrison, but that's one of them. That's the first one I read once I announced the challenge, or once I decided to do the challenge. So Death World by Harry Harrison was one of them. That was part of the New World's November, which I really liked. And then Little Fuzzy by H. Beam Piper. I really like that. I thought it was a really good book. And I read this after I'd read Fuzzy Nation, which is John Scalzi's kind of rewriting of it, which is kind of crazy that you got this sort of, if you like, a literary cover version. So I was really keen to read the original and see what it was like, and I really liked it. So Little Fuzzy was number 2. And then I started reading Pseudo People, which is a really good collection of short stories about AI. And I also started reading an even better collection of stories about AI. These are more modern stories, and I really like this book. This is one of the best anthologies I've read for quite a while. So Made to Order is an awesome anthology about AI. So I read that as well. So that was number 4. I finished the Howling Wolf book. So the biography of my favourite blues singer, Howling Wolf, which is really, really good. Massively recommend this. That was number, what are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was number 5. And I read something I got for Christmas, which didn't take me long. It's like a little sort of TV trivia book. It was quite a bit of fun. Didn't take me long, but you know, it's included in the challenge because it's a book. But it wasn't like, you know, it's not going to change the world. But this was also number 6. I started this, so I haven't finished this yet. So this is the one that in the weekend, this weekend, I'll probably finish it, so it'll become number 7, because I did start it a while back, but I haven't finished this yet. So I was reading this also as part of a group of people that were reading it, led by David Wiley, but there was like Greg from Another Bibliophile Reads as well, and a bunch of other people It was interesting to see what people's reactions were to stories that were kind of controversial at the time, but don't seem very controversial now. So yeah, it's an interesting read, and I'm going to be looking more into Harlan Ellison, who edited this, through the latter part of the year and into next year. But I've got a video about that I'll be posting up soon. But in the meantime, this should be finished this weekend, hopefully. So that's number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I read Snow Country by Yusunari Kawabata, and I didn't really like it. And it's okay, but I was kind of intrigued by it and curious about it because of hearing that it was like a beautiful story with fantastic prose, but I didn't engage with it at all. I found it quite boring and didn't really get into the characters. So this was a little bit of a fail for me. Didn't really like this one, but I read it. So that's number 8. Around this time in December, I did my Philip K. Dick challenge, which was to read as many Philip K. Dick books as I could, but actually my reading was quite slow in December. So I only managed to read 2 Philip K. Dick books, which was The Game Players of Titan and Flow My Tears, The Policeman Said, which I was supposed to be reading with Greg from another bibliophiles reason. He read it much faster than I did because my reading was so bad during December. So shout out to Greg. But yeah, I like this book. This is one of the better Philip K. Dick books I've read. And this was good, but a little bit random and a little bit speaking to the head rather than the heart. This was a little bit more well written and like you kind of got more into the characters, whereas that one was not so much like that. But it was an interesting premise. So there is that. So those were the 2 Philip K. Dick books I read in December. Should have done more. I was going to do more in January, but I realised there's all these readathons and I can't really do that. So I'll get back to Philip K. Dick soon. So I've forgotten where I am with the numbers now, but I'll count them in a minute. And then I read something that I was really excited to get. With some book tokens for Christmas, I was really keen to get Love and Vermin by Will MacPhail. So Will MacPhail I discovered when I read In, which was a graphic novel that I have mentioned on the channel before, but I can't remember when I mentioned it. Might have been the 30 book challenge, which I did a few months back. But anyway, he's a New Yorker cartoonist from England, and he is really, really good, really good. And I knew that was the In was a graphic novel with a story, and these are just the one panel cartoons that he did for the New Yorker. And if you know my channel, you know that I'm into cartoonists, and it's a really good book. It's one of the best cartoonist books I've had for a while, and I really, really liked it a lot. And you know, every page is really funny, and it's just really different and witty, and it's really cool. And I like the way he draws as well. So yeah, this was a big success. So I really like this book, Love and Vermin by Will MacPhail. Another one I read for the challenge, or in the challenge. And I read Little Brother by Cory Doctorow. This was part of the this was the first choice of the New World's SF Book Club. It was my choice. I didn't realise it was a YA book, and some people balked at that in the Voxer group in the book club. But I really liked it. I thought it was really good. It didn't bother me that it had that sort of YA tone to it, and I thought it was good. I did a review of it on the channel quite recently. But yeah, that was also read in this. So we're getting up to sort of now period, because this was the last thing I read, which was me finishing Better by Adam Roberts, which was really good. That's one of the best things I've read for a long time. I thought it was really awesome. And I have filmed a video review of this, but it's probably going to go up sometime late February, I think. We'll see. But yeah, look out for the review though, because I do talk about the themes in the book and talk about why it was successful But it's a very good book. I would recommend it, and shout out to Mike from Fit to Be Read for recommending it. So that is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 13 books, assuming that I finish Dangerous Visions this weekend. 13 books is clearly just over the halfway mark for the 25 books. So I'm quite pleased with that, but I am dying to get back to just buying normal books. But there we are. At the moment, I can only buy history books and Ray Bradbury books. So what have I done on the channel? So over January period, I started off with the plans for 2023, which I usually do. Did that previous year as well, which was a video where I kind of reflected on what I'd read in 2022 as well. I did a concert video, which loads of people contributed to, which was really cool. It did little messages for packs. So that was something to try and draw attention to the GoFundMe page. If you don't know about that, then please have a look at that video, and please check out Pax Panic's channel. She's going through chemotherapy at the moment, so there's been a few people that have been trying to draw attention to this so that we can raise money for her treatment. So I'll leave a link to the GoFundMe page again. But I did that at the beginning of the month as well, after that shocking news that and we're all thinking about her. So we did that. I also did the review of Little Brother. I also announced the Fables, Fairy Tales and Folklore Challenge, which is going to be an ongoing thing. It's going to take me a couple of years, and I am going to start that this coming month, February. But I put an announcement video on about that. I also started a new feature called the Tuesday Tune. So on Tuesdays on my community tab, I'm going to post a little tune, like a song. Not my own song. It's just like, have a listen to this. It's great. So just a song that I think is cool. And that seemed to be going down well. A few people made comments that they enjoyed it. So the Tuesday Tune is going to be a thing. So that's all good. I did a video which was called The Great Unhaul. And in that video, you can see me in my loft after we do a very quick tour of my bookshelves in my bedroom. We go up in the loft, and I just basically go through some books. And to be fair, I watched it again, and most of the books I'm picking out are things I'm going, I can't get rid of that. I can't get rid of that. I can't get rid of that. But I eventually do get rid of 120 books from that video. So I go through some of those books, and I did get rid of 120 books, sent them down to a bookshop down Fratton and got a credit for it. And I bought some Anne McCaffrey books and a few other things with the credit. So I got rid of 120 books and then gained about 12 books. So, I was trying to get rid of books, so that was fine. That was good. That was productive. So I did that. And then I've just put up a review of Bloody Rose by Nicholas Eames, which was actually filmed 3 months ago. So it's finally up there now, which is good because it's a really good book, and I really wanted to review it, so it's up there now. So please check that out if you haven't seen that. So that's what I've done in January. And I think it was quite a successful month. My subscribers just kept going up, which is great. So I do appreciate that a lot. Because as I always say, I'm enjoying this, and I'm enjoying the friends I'm making. I'm enjoying replying to the comments on the videos and having these conversations with people. And obviously that's going to happen more if I have more subscribers. So thank you for that. So next month, we start properly getting into these readathons. I have also, by the way, I haven't put it on this pile because I haven't finished it, but I have been looking at the Encyclopedia of Evolution I've got, which is the first element of my Historathon 2023, because these first 3 months we're looking at the period between prehistory and the year 500 AD. So because of that, I'm looking at evolution first, because I thought prehistory, let's have a look at evolution. Although I know Vin from Revenant Reads, who started this event, did say that he was more interested in us doing human history. So apologies for going right back to year dot, Vin. But I've been doing that. So that's an ongoing thing. So I'll finish that book at some point, but it's an encyclopedia, so I'm kind of nipping into it. So I'll get a sense of where I am with that, and once I feel like I've exhausted the book, I'll say I've finished it, and then I'll move on to these books here. So this is going to be started next month in the coming month. A very famous book about Rome by Mary Beard. So this is going to be started in the coming month. There's a big chunky history of Rome, so this will be interesting. That's going to happen. And I've also I don't know if this ties in. I think it does tie in with the period. I bought this because this looked really good, and this is called The Darkening Age. It's about how the Christians took over the old world and how their religious beliefs became really prominent. So I do think I'm going to really like that book. So I think it's going to be that period, but we'll have a look. And hopefully I can start that as well next month. I'm also going to, I did say in my folklore, fables and fairy tales video that the first book I was going to read was my Brothers Grimm book. So this is the complete Brothers Grimm, and I'm going to start this. So I'm not going to finish it next month, but I'm going to start it in the next few days, actually. So I'm just going to be reading the stories gradually, and I'm hoping that it'll take me a couple of months. I want to do it gradually. I mean, obviously, if you did it properly, it wouldn't take you a couple of months, but I'm going to be reading lots of other things at the same time, and I want to take a couple of months to read this one. So this is going to be the first book for the fairy tales, fables, folklore readathon thing, challenge thing that I'm doing. So I'm looking forward to that. So the Brothers Grimm is going to be started in the next coming month, and probably finished in March, I imagine. And then the other thing I'm definitely going to start, I'm very excited about it, is the first Ray Bradbury book. And before he did science fiction, he did crime books. And these are reprinted stories from the 40s that he wrote, Memory of Murder. So I'm going to read these first, because chronologically, this is the earliest thing that I have, and the earliest thing he wrote. So these crime stories is going to be the first thing I read from Ray Bradbury. Very exciting. So that's the basic challenge goal or whatever for February. But obviously I could, because some of those I'm just starting. This I'm going to read the whole thing, but the Brothers Grimm one I'm just going to start, and the Rome one I'm only going to start. I have got room to read some other things, so I'll just show you some ideas that might turn into things I read next month. I might read J.G. Ballard's High Rise, because I do want to read J.G. Ballard a lot this year. I might read Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. I got this for Christmas after Criminally, and I think Pax also mentioned it, but definitely Criminally mentioned it. And I know I'm going to love this book, so I can't wait to read it. So I might read that next month. I'm going to certainly try and fill it in. And then if I get a chance, this is kind of hovering over me. I've had this downstairs for quite a while. I want to read Seeing by Jose Saramago. And that's a book that develops the idea of what if nobody went to vote in an election? What would be a consequence if everyone just stopped and just abstained from involvement? So it's a kind of a thought experiment, if you like, from a political point of view, which Saramago is good at. So that's something I'd like to start, but we'll see. And I could read Wasp, because I managed to get that, and it'd be nice to read that because it does look really cool. And it's, I've got a bunch of vintage science fiction books I want to get through, and this is kind of top of the list. So if you tell me if you've read that, Eric Frank Russell's Wasp. And I'm going to read more Kawakami as well. So I read Strange Weather in Tokyo about 6-7 months ago, and I've got this as well, The 10 Loves of Mr. Nishino. And I've also got another one, The People in My Neighborhood, which is a very small book. So I'm going to read something by him as well next month. So we'll see at the end of February how I've got on with all that and where I am with the 25 book challenge. But this is my monthly wrap up for January. So yeah, quite a lot that I've covered. Let me know if you think any of those videos were particularly good or interesting or thought-provoking or whatever, and what you think of the books that I've already read for the challenge and what books I'm going to read in the coming weeks. Thank you so much for watching, and see you later. Bye.
Paint me a picture of what it's like to